My dad is a simple man, calm and dedicated to our family. He is not very tall, but he has a strong and steady presence. His hair has turned gray over time, but his eyes are always bright, warm, and full of love. Even though he is busy with work, he always makes time to care for and look after us, from preparing meals to giving us thoughtful advice. My dad has a big heart, always ready to help others, but he is humble and rarely shows his emotions. I admire his patience and determination in everything he does. Whenever I face any challenges in life, just seeing my dad makes me feel safe and at peace.
This morning, I saw a video on TikTok. Actually, the video has reminded me of a Chinese movie that I used to watch in 2024. If I still recall vividly, the name of the movie was Upstream. It was about the story of a middle-aged man who had worked and contributed to the development of a very big company for about 40 years in the position of an IT manager. Unfortunately, because of the economic crisis, to cut down the operating fees and protect the company, especially their business, they finally decided to dismiss him. Instead, they made a decision to recruit a new one to replace his position. He was very shocked and extremely disappointed about the surprising decision of the board managers and tried to understand the reason why he was discharged. However, no one gave him any reasons for that issue. At that time, I had a feeling like everything was very difficult for a person to accept in this situation, because it was like a death end for a man who was over 50 years old. And after that, he also tried to apply for jobs in different companies and organizations. However, you know what? With 40 years of working experience in the field of IT, he still took so much rejections from them without any explanations, while he had to deal with a very big loan for an apartment, and beside that, faced with a very heavy financial burden to raise up his daughter and take good care of other family members in his family. In order to earn enough money to overcome the challenge and deal with the financial problem, he finally decided to work as a shipper. At the beginning, everything was very difficult for him to overcome, but finally, because of the love for his family, and time went by, he tried to work harder, earn enough money to overcome every challenge. I want to tell you this story just to emphasize only one thing, that the job market is changing at the moment, and it becomes more and more difficult and competitive, not only in developed countries like China, Korea, Japan, but also in young countries like Vietnam. That's the reason why, in order to have a well preparation for yourself in the near future, it's very necessary for young people to never stop learning and stay updated with new knowledge, new technology, new AI tools, or new applications. This will allow us to become better versions and especially have enough practical and professional skills to apply at work. 40 years ago, if a person knew how to drive a car, they still could have a stable life and live quite comfortably in the cities. But nowadays, it's very difficult. And many years ago, a candidate who could speak English well and have good computer skills could be considered as an outstanding applicant. But nowadays, speaking fluent English, being good at communication skills, teamwork skills, leadership skills, and so on, or having well-developed interpersonal skills have become basic requirements for any candidates when applying for jobs in different companies. And that's the reason why I think that if you always stay in the same level for a long time, one day in the future, you are going to be left behind. Instead of focusing on learning at the university, focusing on the test, getting high scores for the test at the university, I think that is also very crucial for a student to go out. Like what I mentioned before, for the part-time job, connecting with other people, and taking part in some kind of curriculum activities to improve your soft skills. In this case, I advise you to spend more time on learning languages, Instead of spending time on surfing the internet, using it to sleep in or maybe do something which is unmeaningful, I think that you should go out, try your best to make the best use of your free time during the university to get some practical experience at work. Alright, apply for an internship in a small company so that you can develop your professional skills. And that is also a very important factor for you to get a high-paid job later in the future. And of course, if you want to persuade other people to believe in you, you also need to have a lot of experience, right? They will not believe in you if you just say it by using some theory that you have learned at the university. No. I just want to give you a small example so that you can understand why I always advise you to spend time on different things, reading books, doing some exercise, having a good health, maybe developing your professional skills by going to work, having a part-time job, or maybe applying for an internship. It's also very important, because right now you are a student at the university. You have your parents to support you in finance. But when you finish your university, you also have to take responsibility for anything else in your life, like money, for your job, of course. At that time, you couldn't ask your parents for giving you some money. Absolutely, right? So you also have to focus and spend most of your time on working. And in that case, you will not have more time to spend on learning anything else. When I was a university student, I also have the same thought like you. I thought that I had to focus on studying. During some tests, I also got high scores. I graduated from my university with a very good certificate. But after that, when I attended some interviews in different organizations and companies, it was so terrible because I failed many times. Whoa, I was very confident because I thought that I knew everything in my major. But when I was there in the interview with the employers, I was shy. I knew nothing. And when they gave me some questions, I just kept silent because I didn't know what was the answer for it. Let me tell you a story. 4 years ago, like many people, I was very terrible at English. Although I could get 9 or 9.5 for the English test at my high school, but actually I couldn't speak any English sentences. There was always a question in my mind that I couldn't understand what was the reason why I couldn't speak English. I really wanted to make a big change in my life. That's why I decided to sign up an English grammar course. And I hope that after finishing the course, I could speak English better. If my memory serves me right, the first thing that they taught me at that time was about the IPA. However, all the lessons later were about grammar structures and a lot of new words. Gradually, I lost my motivation, although I was very excited at the beginning. And after finishing the course, my English level still stood at the same level as a beginner. I have to say that I was extremely frustrated, and I didn't know what I should do to improve my English faster. So I gave up learning English one more time. Fortunately, one day when I was a third-year student at my university, I saw a video of my friend on her Facebook by chance. And to be honest, that video extremely inspired me a lot to start learning English again. And although I was very confident about my English grammar, but finally I had to start from scratch. I could say that she was the first person who helped me understand the reason why I should study English. Moreover, she always found different ways to increase my motivation, especially when I got lost. And now I am really confident to say that I can understand the reason why so many Vietnamese students cannot speak English, although they spend many years learning English at secondary school, high school, and university as well. The biggest problem is because they learn so many new words and study grammar rules, but they never have the opportunity to use English for speaking. As a result, after so many years at school, they are still not really confident about their speaking and listening skills. So if you would like to find a suitable method to learn English, Don't hesitate to leave a comment below.